Hi, welcome to the U.S. Youth Soccer Show. I'm your host, Hillary Kennedy. It's summer, and that means the U.S. Youth Soccer National Championship Series is underway. In fact, later this month, the National Championships will be taking place in Rock Hill, South Carolina. The championships are where the top talent in the country come together to see who will be crowned the national champion. You can get the latest updates from our website, championships.usyouthsoccer.org. Coming up, we're going to get a preview of the national championships, catch up with a top soccer event in Northern California, and hear from 4 of the best-known American soccer players, as well as U.S. Youth Soccer alums Landon Donovan, Tim Howard, Hercules Gomez, and Clint Dempsey. Nearly 10,000 teams started the National Championship Series journey this year, and now the field has narrowed to 60 of the most elite teams in the country. Like these guys.
We're Cup Crew Juniors Gold, and we're going to the National Championship!
The National Championships are the crown jewel of youth soccer, and in the next few weeks, the 2012 champions' names will be etched in history.
To win a national championship with everything we've gone through, and we've suffered and we've worked and we've cried and all the blood, sweat, and tears and everything we've done. I mean, only we know what we've gone through, and to win that would be just the culmination of what's been an incredible road.
Obviously, every single team here in the national championships is going to be good. So we're just going to keep playing the game that we play. We're not going to worry about what they're doing. We're just going to make sure that we do our thing.
I think it's a great environment for them to play the best against the best.
It's been always our goal to make it to the national final, and it took us 6 years to get here. And it's just so big, and I'm so proud of these guys and their parents. They put a lot of time, they put a lot of effort, they come together, and they got this thing done.
We worked so hard for this. Everybody's wanting this on the team. Everybody showed up and just everybody came to play. And we're going to go out there, we're going to give it our all, and we're just going to leave it all on the field.
We trust in each other, and we want to win, and nothing is going to stop us to get there.
We get down, we never quit, we work hard, and through pure determination and hustle, we managed to turn it around.
We kind of got down, but we picked ourselves up, and we worked really hard to get here.
The level has to be higher, a little bit faster, a little bit cleaner.
It's nice to get to the finals, but we want to take home a championship.
Every game is a final, and you have to learn to manage it, and it's emotional roller coasters throughout.
It's a once-in-a-lifetime thing, I think at the end of the day, you're going to have your life and you're going to remember this moment.
Make sure to check out usyouthsoccer.org, where we'll have daily stories, photos, and videos from each day of the national championships. If you can't wait until the end of the day, follow us on Facebook or Twitter, where there will be constant updates. And speaking of those making history, we recently got a chance to sit down with some of the all-stars from the U.S. men's national team. We wanted to know where their love of the game came from and hear about some of their coolest experiences on and off the field. Check it out.
I first fell in love with the game of soccer when I was about 6 years old. My parents signed me up for a youth league, and I love running around and scoring goals and doing all the fun things, sliding and kicking the ball. So that was the beginning of it, and I try and cast my mind back to those days when things get tough. My favorite youth soccer memory would probably be when my youth team won the state cup for the first time. It's always fun to win, even now, but as a kid it seemed like you're doing the impossible by winning, and so that was special and important. Soccer's helped me develop as a person because it's taught me a lot of life lessons, how to be competitive, how to play fair. It's taught me a lot of discipline, and certainly as I've gotten older, how to handle myself professionally on and off the field, and a lot of those lessons come from the game itself. The coolest experience soccer's awarded me off the field is probably just some of the perks that you get at other sporting events where other people know you, and sometimes they give you free tickets to watch your favorite NBA team, mine being the Knicks. So that's pretty cool. The coolest experience that soccer has given me on the field would probably be going to a World Cup. I think that's the easy answer, but it's also probably the most important. That's the goal, the ultimate goal of any kid growing up playing soccer. And to have the chance to represent my country in a World Cup is the ultimate. The feeling that you get when you pull that shirt on, you hear the national anthem in a World Cup game, fills you with pride. It's a very humbling feeling, knowing that great players before you have worn that shirt in the same competition, and it's a lifetime fulfillment of a dream in one moment.
Don't worry, Landon, Clint, and Hercules will get their chance later in the show. Tim talked to us about his memories of just having fun on the field, and that's what our next segment is all about. Our cameras found a group in Northern California who know what kicking a ball can do for the human spirit.
Top Soccer is a program designed specifically with kids with special needs in mind, but it also extends to those kids that maybe not quite so athletic and find themselves kind of getting left behind in the typical soccer program. And so they can drop into Top Soccer and fit right in.
When we saw this, it was such an opportunity to just come out, try it, see how he did, and he loved it. I mean, everybody was great. They took care of him, and he just blew me away, and so did everyone else here, so it was awesome.
A couple years ago, I kind of saw a need for this program. I saw kids standing on the sideline who wanted to play, but who parents, for obvious reasons, kept them out of the game. And so found out about Top Soccer a couple years ago and decided I wanted to bring it to this area. And we did that just a couple of months ago, and look at what we have now.
He seemed to have a great time. There was a smile on his face the whole time. The coaches were engaging. Between the coaches, all the kids out here who actually helped out. It was great to see buddies. They were literally attached at the hip and kept the kids moving, and that's a big issue. Keeping these guys going and engaged is tough, and they seem to be able to do it for an hour and a half. So.
One of our goals in this program is to bring the community together and to blend our traditional players from typical soccer teams in with the Top Soccer program. And what they can take away from it is that everybody can play the game. You don't have to be play at the top level to play. Everybody can play the game, and that we can include everybody in this sport.
I chose to volunteer my time for Top Soccer because I felt like it would be just a really great opportunity to give back and get connected with more people in our community. And I thought it would just be a great experience to kind of broaden my horizons and I guess build a network of support, and I really liked the opportunity of service. When I grew up, I want to work with kids with special needs, and so I thought it was a perfect opportunity mixing my interests and my hobbies.
So the buddies are instrumental because they're kind of like their peers, and it's great for the kids. It shows them what needs to be done and allows them the ability to do things, and they assist and keep them moving just as much as coaches do, if not more. Builds bonds, friendships, and just overall it's just a great thing to have out there. We are 100% advocates for buddies in classrooms, buddies on the field, and they just make all the difference in the world. So.
One of the things that we focus on is building their confidence, make sure that they have a lot of successes along the way, a little bit at a time. And so we build on that confidence level, and a lot of times they come out with very low confidence at all. And you can just see it grow from just the beginning of one event to the next. You can see their confidence level grow, and when they leave, they've scored 10 goals and they've got 10 stars stuck on their shirt that our buddies have given them every time they scored a goal, and they're just excited and can't wait for the next event. Of all the soccer things and I've been involved with, this has been absolutely the most rewarding for me personally.
High five,
If you know about a group that needs to be highlighted for just how much fun they have on the field, we want to know about it. Shoot us an email at theshow@usyouthsoccer.org. Let's now hear from a national team standout and the only American to win a scoring title abroad, Hercules Gomez.
I think I fell in love with the game of soccer about maybe 2 or 3 years old. It was instilled in me by my father, who loves the game. It's his passion, and I think through his passion, it was kind of transmitted and kind of passed down to me. So from the time I was walking, I had a soccer ball at my foot everywhere I went. I was kicking around the house, getting in trouble, and since that day on, I haven't stopped. My favorite memory from youth soccer would have to be club soccer growing up. I was fortunate enough to play from I think U10s, U9s to U18s with the same core of like 12 individuals, and to this day they're some of my best friends in the world. To this day I still keep in touch with my youth coach. I consider him one of my closest friends, and I feel I learned a lot, and it was a relationship I made that really made it worthwhile. I think playing soccer has helped me a lot competitively. You know, you learn a lot from playing soccer. You learn how to be competitive. You learn how to be a good leader. You learn character. You learn sacrifice. You learn things that help you in the general overall world that maybe you wouldn't necessarily learn in other places. You wouldn't get the chance. It doesn't matter where you come from. As soon as you're on the soccer field, I think all those principles apply, and whether you like to or not, you learn them. I would have to say the coolest experience soccer has awarded me off the field is the ability to visit countries that I would have never had the opportunity to without soccer, do things that I would have never had the opportunity to do without soccer. I've been very fortunate enough to already meet 3 presidents, and I don't think that would have been possible without soccer. I guess one would say the easiest answer would have to be the World Cup, because that's the ultimate goal of any soccer player. But aside from that, personally, I think soccer's given me the opportunity to kind of stand out and put my family's name on a international scale. I was fortunate enough to become the first American to win a goal-scoring title abroad, and I think that's something that my family probably wouldn't have had the chance to do without the game.
It's time now for a break. When we return, we'll share a few coaching tips, catch up with the Fox Soccer Studio, hear from more soccer stars, and learn about a program in Iowa helping kids get out on the field. On our way out, let's take a look at what USU Soccer is all about. Let's hear from another American making waves overseas, but this time in the Premier League.
I think I fell in love with the game of soccer when I was in 5th grade. I had to make a decision about what sport I was going to put everything I had into, because my family was going to make that sacrifice to drive back and forth from Dallas, so it's 3 hours one way and 3 hours back. So that's when I say I fully committed to the game and was going to put everything I had into it. My favorite memories is playing as a youth, and soccer was just the club tournaments. You're playing with your club team, and winning some of those tournaments. It was just made for a great weekend, and I was lucky enough to be on a team that won a few of those. So those really stand out as some of the best memories as a youth player. My junior year, I went to the Tampa Bay Sun Bowl, and we ended up winning the tournament, and I got MVP of that tournament. So that was probably one of the more special memories. I think sports especially soccer. It prepares you, for life really, because you have the ups and downs, and you have to be able to battle through the good and the bad times, because when things are good, you might get, on too much of a high, and when things are bad, you get too low. So it keeps you grounded and keeps you focused, and it lets you know that it's like a roller coaster, that it's gonna have its ups and downs, but just staying level-headed and keep working hard, and things will work out. The coolest thing that soccer has awarded me off the field is being able to take care of my family better than I ever thought possible. So be able to pay my family back, my parents, and for those drives back and forth to Dallas and stuff like that, really makes me feel good. And also, for my wife and kids, being able to give them a better lifestyle than what I had growing up, and making sure that they're going to be comfortable is what it's all about. Coolest experience of soccer is awarded to me on the field was being able to accomplish a dream. As a young kid, it was to play in the World Cup and being able to score a goal, and being able to do that, accomplish one of your dream as a kid. I think it brings you fulfillment, and it brings you that little bit of peace. So that's probably the coolest thing.
It's time now to check in with Rob Stone and Eric Winalda in the Fox Soccer studio, where they're answering your questions from our Facebook page. Take it away, boys.
Hey kids, Rob Stone here with former U.S. men's national team forward Eric Winalda at the Fox Soccer studio, and we are ready to answer more of your questions about the game we all love. You ready?
All right, Rob, you get to go first. Rachel from Michigan wants to know, do you think foreign stars like Thierry Henry and David Beckham have had a good influence on youth soccer in America?
I don't think it's been a bad influence. I think it's good for the kids to watch players who've played at the highest level, have been under the most pressure, and have earned big paychecks and scoring and contributing on a massive level, as long as there's still plenty of paychecks for our American players here in the States and abroad.
Very well said. I like that last part.
Good. All right. Question here from my man Carson from Arizona. Wants to know, what do you miss most about playing?
All right, I'll tell you, I can tell you what I miss least is near the end of my career. It was just kind of hard to roll my old bones out there, a lot of pain. But in all of that, I think I miss the camaraderie of being around in a team, and being a professional, get to play in front of big crowds. The response from a big crowd when you score a goal or you have a big team win, I think that's what I miss most.
You miss those free massages too after the game.
I think those definitely find their way onto the list somewhere, Rob.
Man. Team trainers, how good, how good. Until next time, get all the latest soccer news at foxsoccer.com or find us on Twitter and Facebook.
And of course, you can tune in to the next episode of the U.S. Youth Soccer Show on Fox Soccer as we answer more of your questions.
Thanks, guys. If you have any questions you want to ask them, post them to our Facebook page, or if you know a story that needs to be told, shoot us an email at theshow@usyouthsoccer.org. Last, but not by any means least, US Youth Soccer got a chance to sit with Landon Donovan and see his take on some things.
I fell in love with the game of soccer at a very early age. I had an older brother who was 5 years older, and from what I'm told, as soon as I could start walking, I was playing. So my brother was sort of waiting for me to take my first steps so he could play with me, and I think because he played, I fell in love with it too, and that was probably a year and a half, 2 years old. I met a lot of people that I still speak to today. I have a lot of friends that I grew up with playing from the time I was 7, 8 years old that I still talk to today. Kids that I grew up with and learned a lot of lessons from, and vice versa, and it's nice to have made that connection at an early age. Soccer was good to me in that way and gave me lifetime friends. Well, doing this competitively and for a living, I think helps us a lot as people. I think a lot of people say that athletes in general make very good people in the workplace once they're done with their careers, because we're obviously very determined, for the most part very hard workers. We're dedicated to what we do. We work well in team environments, so we make other people better, And these are all lessons that you kind of learn naturally without really thinking about it by being part of a team and doing this for a living. I've had a lot of really cool experiences off the field. Obviously, a lot of the places we get to travel gives you a unique perspective on what the rest of the world is like. Makes you realize how fortunate we are to live where we live. One that sticks out was being able to go to the DMZ, the Demilitarized Zone, in between North and South Korea. And I probably spent a lot of time in history class during middle school and high school, but I could have never learned what I learned by going to that border and seeing it in person and learning from the local people in person what had happened there. And I think experiences like that are far more valuable than anything you're going to read in a textbook. Well, my lifelong dream was to play in a World Cup. I would guess that if you ask most of us that have played in a World Cup what the best experience on the field has been, that would probably be it. My favorite was probably my first World Cup game in South Korea, and walking down the tunnel before we played Portugal, and just realizing in that moment, seeing my whole youth soccer days flash before my eyes, and realizing how much I'd put in to get there and how lucky I was to be there, and sort of take it all in and enjoy it, and it was awesome.
This last story comes from one of our viewers who told us that the show should feature one amazing lady's legacy in his community. So our camera set out for Iowa to find out more about Karen Coldrake.
Karen was an outstanding person. She was all about family, community, getting groups of people together, and for every person that she could talk to, she would challenge them to reach above and beyond their potential and always get them to do things that they hadn't thought they could do and would be willing to do.
Karen was just a passionate person. Karen loved sports, she loved education, she loved everything there was about making sure an individual was well-rounded. And I think her biggest theme that I would have taken away from Karen was the fact that every child deserved a chance to play, and so her passion was children.
She got involved in soccer from both the boys starting to play soccer, and she just loved being able to go out and watch the kids play soccer. And she realized that there's a number of families, a number of kids that weren't able to afford the opportunity, especially to play select soccer, and so wanted to do something about it, and started to push on the soccer club to say, hey, we need sort of some financial assistance fund, and sort of got that set up. And then when everything happened and she passed away, they renamed that fund, put her name on it, and so just wanted to do it to give kids the opportunity to get out and have fun. And she had as much fun talking to the parents and being involved, and was just wanting to give every kid the opportunity.
The Karen Coldrake Fund has come an awful long way in the last 4 or 5 years. The fund really started out by the 3 clubs getting together, and any budget surplus would go into a separate scholarship fund. But in today's economy, and with more kids wanting to play soccer, our belief is that we give the opportunity to all kids who would like to play soccer, regardless of finances. Over the last 4 or 5 years, with the economy, with the job situation, and with a number of other cultures moving into the Johnson and the Urbandale communities, we have made the foundation in itself a not-for-profit 501c3 standalone foundation. So all monies that go into the foundation, almost 100% of those funds go to children playing soccer within our communities. In the last couple of years, we've done an awful lot of fundraising, and tonight's event, the Karen Coldrake 5-kilometer run, is one of those events. We have terrific local community support from people like Shields All Sports, and we've got a number of other people who make personal donations because it's a good cause and because they knew Karen and they knew what her vision is, and we want to continue that vision for Karen.
Every year we're able to impact 20, 30, 40 kids directly that otherwise would not have played soccer, and beyond that, for many families that are just struggling to be able to help them make ends meet, it allows hundreds of kids the ability to play soccer in our community.
Thanks again for all of your emails about the show and what you would like to see. If you haven't yet, send us an email at theshow@ususoccer.org. Well, that's it for this month. Good luck to all of the teams involved in the national championships. And don't forget, you can follow all the action at championships.ususoccer.org. Keep the ideas rolling, and thanks again for watching. I'm Hillary Kennedy, and until next time, get out and get in the game.